Good Country People, Part 7 of 7. She gave a little cry of alarm, but he pushed her down and began to kiss her again. Without the leg, she felt entirely dependent on him. Her brain seemed to have stopped thinking altogether and to be about some other function that it was not very good at. Different expressions raced back and forth over her face. Every now and then the boy, his eyes like two steel spikes, would glance behind him where the leg stood. Finally she pushed him off and said, "Put it back on me now." "Wait," he said. She leaned the other way and pulled the valise toward him and opened it. It had a pale blue spotted lining, and there were only two Bibles in it. He took one of these out and opened the cover of it. It was hollow and contained a pocket flask of whiskey, a pack of cards, and a small blue box with printing on it. He laid these out in front of her, at a time in an evenly spaced row, like one presenting offerings at the shrine of a goddess. He put the blue box in her hand. "This product to be used only for the prevention of disease," she read, and dropped it. The boy was unscrewing the top of the flask. He stopped and pointed, with a smile, to the deck of cards. It was not an ordinary deck, but one with an obscene picture on the back of each card. "Take a swig," he said, offering her the bottle first. He held it out in front of her, but like one mesmerized, she did not move. Her voice, when she spoke, had an almost pleading sound. "Aren't you," she murmured, "aren't you just good country people?" The boy cocked his head. He looked as if he were just beginning to understand that she might be trying to insult him. "Yeah," he said, curling his lip slightly, "but it ain't held me back none. I'm as good as any day in the week." "Give me my leg," she said. He pushed it further away with his foot. "Come on now, let's begin to have us a good time," he said coaxingly. "We ain't got to know one another good yet." "Give me my leg," she screamed, and trying to lunge for it, but he pushed her down easily. "What's the matter with you all of a sudden?" he asked, frowning as he screwed the top of the flask on and put it quickly back inside the Bible. "You just a while ago said you didn't believe in nothing. I thought you was some girl." Her face was almost purple. "You're a Christian," she hissed. "You're a fine Christian. You're just like them all. Say one thing and do another. You're a perfect Christian. You're—" The boy's mouth was set angrily. "I hope you don't think," he said in a lofty, ignorant tone, "that I believe in that crap. I may sell Bibles, and I know which end is up, and I wasn't born yesterday, and I know where I'm going." "Give me my leg," she screeched. He jumped up so quickly that she barely saw him sweep the cards in the blue box into the Bible and throw the Bible into the valise. She saw him grab the leg, and then she saw it for an instant slanted forlornly across the inside of the suitcase, with the Bible at its side of its opposite ends. He slammed the lid shut and snatched up the valise and swung it down the hole, and then stepped through himself. When all of him had passed but his head, he turned and regarded her with a look that no longer had any admiration in it. "I've gotten a lot of interesting things," he said. "One time I got a woman's glass eye this way, and you needn't to think you'll catch me, because Pointer ain't really my name. I use a different name at every house I call at, and don't stay nowhere long. And I'll tell you another thing, Huldah," he said, using the name as if he didn't think much of it. "You ain't so smart. I've been believing in nothing ever since I was born." And then the toast-colored hat disappeared in the hole, and the girl was left sitting on the straw in the dusty sunlight. When she turned her churning face toward the opening, she saw his blue figure struggling successfully over the green, speckled lake. Miss Hopewell and Miss Freeman, who were in the back pasture, digging up onions, saw him emerge a little later from the woods and head across the meadow toward the highway. "Why, that looks like that nice, dull young man that tried to sell me a Bible yesterday," Miss Hopewell said, squinting. "He must have been selling them to the negroes back in there. He was so simple," she said, "but I guess the world would be better off if it were all that simple." Miss Freeman's gaze drove forward and just touched him before he disappeared under the hill. Then she turned her attention to the evil-smelling onion shoot she was lifting from the ground. "Some can't be that simple," she said. "I know I never could." And that is the end of Good Man, Good Country People by Flannery O'Connor.